Hey there, my real estate family. Big news today in our industry. Our industry is getting ready to change somewhat dramatically. So I want to kind of run through it with you exactly what happened today, the good, the bad, and the ugly within it, and what you can do right now to have a sustainable career in real estate moving forward. My name is Jamie Downey. I'm a 20-year veteran real estate agent here in the Charlotte market, and I'm the broker owner of Next Home Paramount in South Park. I've been teaching classes on these lawsuits for 2 years. So I feel like I have a good education, and especially thanks to our CEO, James Dwiggins, who has been in the forefront of educating real estate agents on what actually is happening behind the scenes in these lawsuits. It's going to be a heady conversation, but let's get into it. So, as predicted and honestly hoped for, NAR has sent a proposed settlement agreement in the class action lawsuit that we've all been following for quite some time. So, to shake it out, there's a lot of what ifs right now. Okay. And we need to kind of focus on facts right now because this is still subject to court approval, not only court approval, but DOJ approval, Department of Justice. There still could be changes. So, NAR, honestly, I feel like NAR had their backs against the wall here because the DOJ actually stepped in February of this year. They set their sights on decoupling commissions, and even after preliminary agreements were made, after other companies actually settled, the DOJ said, yeah, that's not good enough. Here's what we want to happen. And no matter what anyone agreed to, the FTC and the DOJ could step in and force these changes. So, in my personal opinion, I feel like that's the back against the wall, and that's why we are where we are. The DOJ was set to decouple commissions. So, a recap of the proposed changes released by NAR today: a release of liability. Hallelujah, hallelujah. None of these thirsty copycat lawsuits we're going to see anymore. All the members of NAR except Home Services of America, who is the last corporate defendant still in litigation. So the biggest name under that umbrella is Berkshire Hathaway that we'd be familiar with. And honestly, I would guess they'd be settling soon too because Warren Buffett is no dummy. Look for that. The buyer broker agreements will be required. There's only 18 states that currently require this. Of course, North and South Carolina both do. So this is something that we're used to. It's language that we're used to. What we're not used to is being able to express our value within that conversation and getting the buyer to pay us for our buyer agent services. So there's a lot to unpack in that little category, and I'm going to dig into it. Moving on to other things that were announced today, compensation offers will be removed from the MLS. This does not mean that there is no compensation allowed. It just cannot be advertised in the MLS where we're used to seeing it at the bottom of our canopy page. We're going to dig in a little bit more there too. We're still going to be able to get paid. NAR pays $418 million over 4 years, and it is a lot of money, but honestly, it's half of what was expected if they settled. There were B in front of that billions. That was the expectation. So here you can expect your dues to increase over the next few years. 2024 will not be affected, obviously. But as we move into 2025, as we will have to express our value to our buyers, NAR is certainly going to have to express their value to their real estate agent contingency. They're really going to let us know what it is that they're doing for us. So, positives and negatives. Let's start with the positives. This is going to be a clear model of how buyers agents and sellers agents get paid. They'll see, hopefully, that it's not okay to just call some random agent because they don't feel like bothering their agent or their brother, sister's cousin, since everybody's a real estate agent right now. All right. So that's a positive. And just because there will not be a place for commission in the MLS doesn't mean that we can't communicate it. As a listing agent, I sure do not want every single one of you calling me just to show my property that I have listed to find out what the compensation will be. So we can put that in the agent remarks. I would think that there would be different kind of platforms in different areas where we will be able to do that, whether showing time steps up. We're not sure yet. But these changes are coming, and everybody behind the scenes is already working towards these changes. We usually get our contract changes in July. So my anticipation is that we're going to see some of those heavy changes in our listing agreements and buyer agency agreements at that time too. Since these changes, especially MLS, are supposed to start in July. If you are listing a property and accepting FHA and VI financing as a listing agent, I would say it's your responsibility to express to your seller the importance of hiring a buyer's agent, the importance of being able to offer compensation for a buyer's agent. We're going to dig into that a little bit more too. And agents, what if we work together? Actually, I say all the time that we are better together. My hashtag, we're better together. You will see every time I post on it. We are all on the same team, and our job is to get our folks to the closing table. That includes buyers and sellers, and not to be adversarial assholes. Y'all stop it. Stop it. This is an antiquated model. We are here to help each other. We are better together. So when you are a listing agent working with a buyer's agent, we are on the same team. And I think if we all have that mindset, we need to set our industry standards now because they just so dramatically changed. Some of the negatives, and I always see a negative as an opportunity, and I'm going to tell you why. First, the biggest negative that I see here is that the underserved population is taking the hit. Again and again, the underserved population is going to take a hit here until these changes really manifest with Fannie and Freddie and being able to include compensation within your mortgage. It already is. It just needs to be worded differently, right? We need to change those guidelines that have that maximum 3% for closing costs or whatever those additional things are that they might be able to need, and separately include compensation. All right. So this is where we need to work with what we have for right now and lean in on our skill of negotiation with our peers, with our clients, with our sellers. Okay. It's also been noted that many agents will leave the industry. Okay, that's definitely an opportunity in my mind. Right now, 10% of the people are doing 90% of the business. So it's your job to push yourself up into that 10% or lay in the middle or move yourself on out. Now, I'm going to tell you what, there's great opportunity, and it's not failure to leave the industry if you choose to no longer be here. There's opportunity from a referral standpoint. There are people that make a ton of money just handing out referrals for 20 to 30%, and you're sitting on your couch in your pajamas, referring out business to a trusted realtor that you can have your clients work with. So there are options to consider to still make money in this business. But if it is going to stress your financial ability to take care of your family, to handle the life that you want to live, then it is time to reconsider. Or consider finding yourself a team or a leader that's going to pour into you and help you manifest that positivity to get through this. Some older and more seasoned agents may choose to not work with buyers or get out of the business altogether. Again, that's opportunity in my eyes. There's great opportunities, just like I said, from that referral standpoint. You can still be making money off your people. We have long been in a race industry wide to the bottom. We have a low barrier of entry with little to no training requirements, and we have a lot of agents that are frankly doing a disservice to their clients, and that's the view from the outside looking in. So I'm not mad at those agents leaving. 49% of agents in 2023 did less than one transaction. 49% of agents in 2023 did less than one transaction. Now, 2023 was a tough year in real estate. Numbers were down across the board nationwide, but that is a telling sign. You cannot be an expert in your craft and sell one house a year. You can't. That is not a good service to the community or to the client. So these agents or agents like this, in my opinion, will become our competition moving forward. People that are so desperate that they will offer to guide buyers with some ridiculous price, like $500, to get you through the transaction. So you are going to need to be able to express your value at a very high level to show why you are worth what it is that you're asking for to get paid. So what can you do now? Number one, I'd say that we really need to come together as an industry more than ever. Right now, it's like the slate has been wiped clean. we can set the tone in Charlotte and the greater Charlotte area of what it is that we do with each other. For example, like I said, listing agents, if you're going to promote your seller with an FHA or VA financing availability, then I find it to be your responsibility to have the conversation with your seller of the importance of being able to offer compensation to a buyer's agent. Right? We want someone to be guided through the transaction. We want people to not in, 2 years for buyers to come in with a lawsuit because they're pissed off because they couldn't afford representation. People deserve representation. We're here and we have buyer representation now because we used to not to, right? And now we realize that buyers need representation, and now we're tracking backwards. So if we come together as a realtor community to really help educate our people on the importance of agents and not post sold in 20 minutes with 40 offers, $100,000 over list price. Because when you do that, you are teaching the people that they don't need you. So let's work together to help our industry advance. All right. That to me is the first thing. All right. Dual agency is the next thing on the chopping block. It's already a conversation. I can't say I don't agree with it. I do not in any way believe that it is a good scenario for a buyer or seller. However, it is allowed in our state. It depends on your brokerage, what's allowed. I would definitely recommend that listing agents express the value of a buyer agent. If you are going into a buyer consultation, and a buyer consultation is the new listing presentation, right? You need to be able to sit down with your buyers and specifically show what it is that you do as a buyer's agent. And honestly, most people don't know. For years, we've trained ourselves to hide the hard work that goes into working with buyers. Like all of the hours of preparation and negotiation and calls and emails and putting out fires. There's a statistic that 27% of buyers put in more than 10 offers in 2023. Y'all, that's some work we're doing, and we need to be expressing exactly what it is that we do. So at Next Home, we've been preparing for this exact change for a couple years now. So it's really a non-issue for us. One of the things that we've done is we introduced a buyer consultation booklet, and all of our agents can go in, push a button, and it's immediately marketed to them. They print or send digitally 7 pages of what buyers agents do. 7 pages of every single detail throughout the transaction that buyers agents do. Now, you can Google this. There's a lot of stuff on Google, but I would highly recommend putting together a strong buyer consultation showing what you do so that this person over here that's offering $500 because I'm desperate to pay my AT&T bill next to you who wants a certain percentage of the transaction, that why should they agree to pay you if the seller refuses? You need to be able to express that value at a really, really high level. We also just did a buyer consultation workshop in the Next Home Academy, and we detailed exactly what needs to be in that conversation, in that consultation, right? The A to Z and after and before of what happens in that consultation. We're educating our buyers and showing our value. Once you really start talking about what it is that you do, buyers realize, well, that's a lot more than I thought. Okay. Practice it. Look in the mirror. Have the muscle memory. Talk about it. Create something like that for yourself. Master your craft. Don't be one of these agents that gets pitched to the curb right now. And to do that, you need to master your craft. Continually educate yourself on how to be the best that you can be. The rule of 100, I absolutely love this, states that if you spend 18 minutes a day, you'll be better than 95% of the world in any discipline. So if you practice the piano for 18 minutes a day for a year, you'll basically be better than 95% of the world at the piano. States this rule. So put this into practice into your business. What are you doing for 20 to 30 minutes to an hour every single day that's going to help you grow, learn? Who's pouring into you? Who are your leadership right now? Who are the people that you're surrounding yourself with? Who are the agents in your office that are pulling you forward? sharing information, being collaborative. Is that the kind of office environment you're in? That's the kind of office environment we have at Next Home Paramount. And I love that. That's the kind of culture that I'm trying to build here. So, I'm honestly, I'm not sure how some of the firms in our market are going to change and move into this new vision of our industry. So some of these firms require you to pay 3% regardless of what you get paid. You have to make up that money. I don't know how that's going to work. I'm hoping that they make those positive changes. Companies that you can't reach your BIC without submitting a formal inquiry. This is a time where leadership is an integral piece to your success. As an industry, that we need to make changes that benefit not only the client, but the agent too. We need leadership right now. We are the CEOs of our own businesses. We can fire and hire. And now is the time to really analyze that, my friends. Really look at where you are and who you're surrounding yourself with. It's very important. Thanks primarily to our Next Home CEO, James Dwiggins. Our brokerage and our company have been preparing for this transition for a couple of years now. It's a non-event for us. We are ready. We are always looking for agents to join our firm that have our humans over houses mentality. Humans over houses is our Next Home company hashtag. To finish, change is never easy. This is different. And there are some real pearls in these changes that are going to elevate our industry. Embrace them, get better at what you do, and charge forward. I'm very excited about what comes next in real estate, quite frankly. So reach out anytime if you want to talk more about these shifts and what I think brokers and agents need to do right now to be ready. So like I've told our agents, you're ready. Let's roll. All right. Don't be afraid. Watch this webinar at 4:30 today. And we're here if you need us. I'm Jamie from Next Home.